We are joined by Springboks center and the Sharks player Lukhanyo Am. We remember him. He helped the Springboks to win the 2019 World Cup in Japan. He was so instrumental in everything that was happening in Japan. Lukhanyo, we are so honored to have you, my brother. How have things been? Let's start with your season.
I think it's been a challenging year for me. Coming back from a long-term injury has been really frustrating. But I think I did well in terms of bouncing back and getting my fitness level, up to standard. I'm really happy where I'm at right now.
And playing on the Northern Hemisphere compared to the Super Rugby when we were here on the Southern?
I think there's a vast, difference between the Southern and the Northern Hemisphere. Even I think the conditions, it's more wet, it's extremely cold, and the style of rugby as well. You must be able to adjust. For some games it's slower, it's more physical, and for some, it's really fast, and it's like you're playing an international, game. Whereas, in the Southern Hemisphere, it was, almost fast, every game, and exciting, all about attack. Whereas now it's more structured and technical.
For South African teams to partake in the URC, how is it? How is it helping, especially the national team, in your opinion?
I think in the URC you face a lot of international players. Almost every team you play against, has got a couple of international players, and even this, I think the quality and the standard of rugby, it almost like prepares you for test match rugby. So I think that's the benefit on playing the URC.
Will you say maybe it's an advantage of some sort that you were on the URC, taking into consideration the group you are in, the teams you are in, you with in your group of the World Cup?
Yes, I think we've played most players against the Scottish, the Irish, and even in the Heineken, against guys from France. So it does help us a bit to have the feel and have the experience.
Rugby championships is fast approaching. How are things? How is the team?
I think we're in the right place. As a team, we've had a couple of camps, but just a bit of introduction of how things will be, and we're really happy where we're at.
Let's talk of leadership. We understand, we know that the captain that is Springbok captain Siya has been had an injury and was going through surgery, which we understand was successful. When last did you speak with him, and how is he doing?
I think our captain here is doing really well. He's working hard on his rehab, and he's looking really strong. I think preparations, obviously we're going to miss him in the Rugby Championship. There's a core group of players, and leaders, in the team. So I think it won't be too much of a change.
Now it's given that he wants to be part of the Rugby Championships, and we are left with exactly 3 months before the start of the Rugby World Cup in France. The South Africans, we are expecting the Boks to defend the championship. How hard is it going to be for you guys to try to defend the title?
It will be definitely challenging. I think there are a lot of quality sides, and we all know, like, in the rankings, probably 1 to 6 can beat anyone, on a given day. So it's going to be, an interesting World Cup. But we definitely are the defending champions, so we're going to go there to go defend the cup.
If Siya is not ready by September, say the management at Springbok give you the honor to lead the team, are you ready to step up?
Yeah, I think we've had leaders in the camp, and I had my role, and I think if I be backed by the coaches, it wouldn't change much. I think there's a lot of guys that have led the Springboks before, so that wouldn't be too much of a big ask.
Going back to the URC, you haven't played much with players from your Australia, your New Zealand. Will you say maybe you have an insight of how they are in terms of fitness or the way they play now, teams like Australia and New Zealand, since you are no longer in the Super League? I mean, in the Super Rugby.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have to, analyze, once again, because we're playing up north, but we do watch, the Super Rugby, but we don't really, have the feel, because we're not playing against the guys anymore. We all know, like, test match level, how the game is played. And what are the conditions of it. So from our side, we'll just prepare and make sure that we will be able to play at international level.
Thank you very much for your time. We wish you all the best for the coming few months. We know it's not going to be easy. That was Springbok Center Lukhanyo Am talking to us here exclusively as the SABC News.